Affirmations do not work. They also work perfectly. Both statements are true, and the reason both are true will fundamentally alter your understanding of every technique, every practice, and every method you've ever used to try and change your life. Because here is what no one is telling you. The affirmation is not the mechanism. The visualization is not the mechanism. The meditation, the scripting, the 3-6-9 method, the subliminals, the acting as if, the moon water, none of these are the mechanism. You are the mechanism. And until you understand what that actually means, you'll keep searching for the right technique, the one that finally works, the one that unlocks the door. The door is not locked. You are the door. There is a question that has plagued the entire personal development and manifestation space for decades, and it is this: why do techniques work extraordinarily well for some people and completely fail for others? Same affirmations, same visualizations, same level of consistency, radically different results. The conventional explanations are inadequate. You didn't believe hard enough. Your subconscious has blocks. You weren't aligned. These are circular. They explain nothing. They simply re-describe the problem using different words. The actual answer requires a more fundamental shift in understanding, one that most teachers in this space either do not grasp or are unwilling to articulate clearly. So I'll explain it to you. You are reality itself, temporarily experiencing the amazing gift of being a human on Earth. The techniques do not create outcomes. They provide structure for a decision you've already made at the level of your being. I'll say that again, because it is the entirety of this teaching. The technique does not create the outcome. The technique provides structure for a decision you've already made at the level of your being, your identity. When affirmations work, it's not because the words carry magical properties. It's because you, as the operative agent of your experienced reality, have decided that this is how transformation occurs for you. The affirmation becomes the permission through which you allow yourself to occupy a different state of being. When affirmations fail, they fail for precisely the same reason. You've decided at that same fundamental level that they do not work. In reality, being a perfect mirror confirms your decision. This is a structural description of how consciousness relates to experience. Consider two people who begin an identical affirmation practice. Same words, same duration, same consistency. Jeremiah experiences profound transformation within weeks. Whitney experiences nothing, perhaps even regression, and concludes that affirmations are nonsense. The standard explanation invokes hidden variables. Jeremiah must have believed more. Jeremiah must have had fewer subconscious blocks. Jeremiah must have been more aligned. But this explains nothing. It simply pushes the question back one step. Why did Jeremiah believe more? Why did Jeremiah have fewer blocks? You can regress this infinitely and never arrive at a satisfying answer. The actual explanation is simpler and more radical. Jeremiah decided, not at the level of conscious thought, not through effort or willpower. At the level of fundamental being, Jeremiah selected the version of reality in which affirmations function as an effective tool, and having made that selection, the affirmations work. They must work, because Jeremiah is the reality in which they work. Whitney also decided, equally validly, at the same fundamental level. Whitney selected the version of reality in which affirmations are ineffective. And having made that selection, the affirmations fail. They must fail, because Whitney is the reality in which they fail. Neither is wrong, neither is broken, neither is more or less spiritually advanced. They are simply operating different realities, because they are different realities. Here is where this becomes genuinely useful rather than merely philosophical. If you are the mechanism, then the search for the correct technique is revealed as the wrong question entirely. There is no universally correct technique. There is only the technique that you've decided works, and the moment you genuinely decide, it does. This is why you can find passionate advocates for literally every method ever conceived. Affirmations work. Affirmations are useless. Visualization is the key. Visualization is unnecessary. You must take massive action. Action is irrelevant. Only state of being matters. All of them are correct. All of them are reporting accurately on the reality they are generating. The disagreement is not about which technique is objectively effective. The disagreement is between different realities, each internally consistent, each valid within its own frame. You are the mechanism. The technique is the story you tell yourself about why the mechanism is operating, and the story you tell yourself about whatever method you use is useful. Do not misunderstand me. The story is genuinely, practically useful, because most people cannot simply decide without a vehicle. The affirmation, the visualization, the practice, these provide the vehicle. They give the conscious mind something to do while the actual shift occurs beneath it. Think of it this way. When you repeat an affirmation, you're not programming the universe. You're not sending signals to a cosmic ordering system. You're giving yourself permission to occupy a different state of being. The words are the permission. The state of being is the transformation. This is why conviction matters more than content. An affirmation spoken with total certainty will outperform a supposedly better affirmation spoken with doubt. The words are almost irrelevant. The state of being from which they're spoken is everything. This brings us to the practical question, the one that actually matters. If you are the mechanism, how do you decide at that fundamental level? How do you make the shift that allows techniques to work? How do you move from being a Whitney to being a Jeremiah? The answer is uncomfortable for most, because the answer removes all excuses and forces accountability. You do not need to find the right technique. You do not need to clear your blocks first. You do not need more time, more practice, more information. You need to recognize who you are. Reality, infinity, and just make the decision that this is who you really are right now because you say so. Period. And the this I am referring to is whatever the thing is you desire, whatever you're trying to manifest. That is you right now because you say so. Period. Now. If everything works and nothing works, and you are the mechanism regardless, why do I put so much emphasis on meditation? Why does this channel exist at all? Because meditation works the best. Period. Do whatever you want. Everything works. I will support you. But this is what I have found to work for the vast majority of people, most consistently, most effectively, in the shortest amount of time. Here is why. All of this becomes way easier when you actually feel good. There is no substitute for higher states of consciousness, and good luck getting there by thought alone. Changed consciousness changes experience immediately. Most techniques operate downstream of this. Meditation operates upstream. It shifts your state of being directly, and from that shifted state of being, decision becomes natural, effortless, obvious. Most of you avoid it because it's hard and feels like work. I understand. But I'm telling you what actually moves the needle. And here's something I find fascinating. The teachers who say, you don't need techniques, just decide. The ones with that unshakable conviction that reality bends to their word alone. Almost all of them arrived at that conviction through meditation, through an experience that cracked them open so completely that they could finally operate from pure decision. They teach from the other side of that transformation as if the meditation was incidental. It wasn't. It was the vehicle that got them there. So yes, you are the mechanism. Yes, decision is ultimately what matters. But for most people, the direct path to that level of decision runs through meditation, through actually experiencing shifted consciousness rather than just thinking about it. You can skip that step if you want. Everything works, remember? But if you're wondering why it hasn't clicked yet, this might be why. So, what does this mean for your practice going forward? It means use whatever technique resonates. Affirmations, visualization, scripting, meditation, action, inaction. There is no wrong choice. There is only your choice. But use it with the understanding that the technique is not the cause. You are the cause. The technique is simply how you give yourself permission to operate as what you already are. Stop searching for the method that really works. They all really work. They all really fail. The variable is not the method. The variable is you, and you're not a variable at all. You are the constant, the unchanging awareness in which all methods, all outcomes, all realities appear. This all becomes way easier and way more simple when you just let this be true for you, because it already is, whether you want to believe it or not, whether you feel it or not. If this landed for you, if something shifted in your understanding, let me know in the comments. And subscribe. We have a lot of content coming your way. Also, if you need some help, there's many guided meditations on the channel that will make all of this easier for you. They're free. Use them. Thank you for watching. Until the end, you are reality. See you in the next one.